This is in response to Billy's Talking Points memo from Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015. Is the Pope a left-wing kind of guy? And I got it for Poppy right here. I got my Stand with Francis thing. I'm a good RC. For me, that doesn't mean Roman Catholic. That means recovering Catholic. But, let's not make any qualms about this. Billy wants to paint the Pope to his audience, which is extremely white, mostly conservative Protestant, let's just say, as a liberal guy, and not one of them. He wants to paint that right from the beginning, even though he doesn't want to paint it too far. So the question, is he a liberal guy? Of course, Billy's going to say he's a liberal guy, but he does go on to point out that there's some people in the Vatican are a little bit upset that at the reception that Obama's going to have at the White House, we'll have, I believe, a guy named Gene Robinson, who is a gay bishop in the Episcopalian Church. There's going to be an LGBT blogger there, and some other woman who is gay, who was kicked out of the Catholic grade school that she taught at, or high school that she taught at, because she was gay, etc. Pope's not signing on to any of this, but let's get something straight. He's a liberal guy to the conservatives, in terms of the fact that he wants to help people more. The Pope has not endorsed gay marriage. The Pope is still very much adamantly against abortion. So these two issues, they're right in line with him. So he's no different than the other popes. He has a much more conciliatory, a much more forgiving, a better attitude towards helping the poor and being a part of the human race. And that's the part that they don't like. But in terms of the things that they care about the most, he's right in step with them. The things that they don't care about, and he's bringing up, oh, now he's a liberal guy, So the Pope is going to the White House. He's not necessarily wants to be pictured with all these people because it may endorse their cause, which is okay, I understand that. But Billy then goes to say, but the Pope is a liberal, no question. Now, and Billy says that extremely convincingly. And of course, the reason he says it is that, let's get this down straight, the things that the Pope cares about, that Billy is not necessarily going to go over completely, but mention, are the things that the Republicans do not care about at all, and will portray this Pope as a leftist Marxist, which some congressman from Arizona who went to a Jesuit school has already signed off that he's not going to go because of his Marxist policies. It's sort of a funny thing. He went to a Jesuit school. Now, I don't know exactly where the Pope stands on all this right now, but the two previous popes, they went to the very, very far right end of the Catholic Church, and they're nihil obstinat, and they're imprimatur. Yes, I remember those things. And et cum spiritu tuo. They went to the far right, and they aligned themselves much more with a conservative Catholic priest group called Opus Dei. Very, very conservative. And at the time, the Jesuits were the ones that were sort of pushed aside, because the Jesuits were basically the teachers, the learners, the progressives, let's just say. So it'll be interesting to see where that is. Of course, a guy that went to a Jesuit school, who's a Republican in the House in Arizona, doesn't want to see the Pope because he's a Marxist and believes in global climate change. So Billy goes on to talk about how the Pope wants to put further regulations, or sees that there's a need for further regulation on capitalism, because the Pope is well aware of the fact of the wide divergence in terms of income inequality that there is in the United States, and there is in very many other countries. But Billy doesn't really want to go over that part. He wants to go over the part that, well, there's crony capitalism in China. There's crony capitalism in Russia. There's probably crony capitalism in Argentina, where he grew up. So he's trying to lump Argentina's crony capitalism possibly with China and Russia. So you see how he's painting them over there. And of course, Billy indicates, and of course, this is one of the great lies that he loves to tell, is that there are strict regulations on capitalism in the United States, and we're a much fairer country. Even though income redistribution income inequality has skyrocketed in the last 35 years, ever since Reagan took a hold of the reins of power, so to speak. So Billy's has a very far-fetched concept about regulations in capitalism, because they have been stripped by the 20 years of Republican governance, and just by the incredible intransience of the House and Senate Republicans in terms of getting things done that are good for the common people in the United States. And of course, the good that the Pope wants to bring about, indicating that yes, there is global climate change, and there is passages in the Bible where it does speak clearly about being good stewards to the land. Now, the Republicans, they believe in the other line that says, I will give you dominion over the land and sea. But again, there are many other passages in the Bible that talks about being good stewards of the land. And of course, the Pope is basing a lot of this on helping the poor. Remember, he's going to Catholic charities today and meeting with undocumented people today. And I believe when he gets to Philadelphia, he's going to a jail. And of course, the jail is run not by the city, not by the state, but a private entity that is ripping this people of Pennsylvania off blind and just taking it to these people. Didn't I read yesterday that there's a suit in Texas where people are now being put in jail, they say, allegedly, as a debtor prison. And that just strips people of their money, and it makes it impossible to work, and it makes it impossible to pay off these debts. And this is what the Pope is here for. He's here for the poor. He's here for the downtrodden. He's here for my brothers and sisters who have not been given a chance in the United States as nearly, as closely as Billy has been given, and many other people. In fact, I was just talking to some people the other day, and one white guy about my age just said, clearly, I have been very lucky because I have white privilege because of all the things that I did as a kid. If I was a black guy, I would have gotten shot. I would have been in jail. I would have been in prison. So I have white privilege. And again, that's again what Billy is pointing out here is, that the reins of government are supposed to help the rich because they're rich. And if you're not rich, it's your fault.